everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back. And today I'm having Jennifer. Hey, good looking.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
All is good?
Had a great morning actually. I got an amazing email last night and that could change the course of my future big time.
Okay.
And I am just, it was hard to sleep last night.
Can you say what about it or details or no?
I got a job offer from a film producer who lives in Spain.
Okay.
So there's a chance that I would be flying over to Europe here and there throughout the year to help her
I
shoot
love
films.
it.
Yeah, so
I
it's
love
exciting.
My friend is gonna be famous.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about that because I know how much you love to do this being in film production, and I know you can do it because you are always have a passion about movies like me. But usually I don't see anyone like me in movies. I watch all the movies, but you can compete with me about that. So I love that.
It's fun. I'm really excited.
I know
I'm
you are
very
working
excited.
in this field already, but have you been in it for a long time?
No, I actually got into it about senior year of college. So
Okay.
it's been since 2021. And I've just been working really hard and trying different pathways to get into the film industry since it's a very difficult industry to break into.
I know I was going to say that. Is it hard, especially here in Florida or Jacksonville?
Since Florida doesn't really have a big film scene, I mean, it does to an extent, but it's nothing like New York or California from what I understand at my level. But I mean, when you are trying to break into the industry, you actually have to work for free first. So it's hard. You want to find a job that pays the bills, but you also want to have a job where you can do your passion, right?
I think most of the people doing that in New York, California, like they have to be working
Exactly.
and on the side trying to do what they like. But have you decided or thought about leaving Jacksonville for doing that?
I wouldn't mind the commute. I do like living in Jacksonville, though. I
know.
have lived in other cities, and I like Jacksonville.
It's very hard. Maybe Atlanta is the closest one for us, and they have
Right.
this kind of stuff. But that's why I feel it's very hard to get into this field. But maybe because you are a writer, so you can write from anywhere, right?
Right, exactly. That can be done remotely. That's not a problem.
Have you done work on a movies before with someone in the film production?
I have. I've worked on a few here and there. I've worked on student films. I've actually created, I think it was a while ago, I created a team. So we were working on films together, like writing films together. But I've written films, stuff like that. So I've just tried to.
Is there anything we know or even can find it somewhere?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Maybe the one in Europe. We'll see.
I don't know. That's maybe that's one in Europe. You never know.
Hopefully. I really happy about that because I know you want it, and I think you can do it. What kind of movies you like to write?
Ideally, comedies, because I love to write.
Comedies.
And I like to write things that make people laugh and make people feel good. So growing up, I always had that idea that when I watch a film, I want to be entertained. Regardless of what kind of day it was, hard day, it was a good day, I want to laugh. I want to leave that film feeling relaxed and excited, maybe thinking about something new or something like that, being inspired. So comedies really do that for me. And
everyone saying, even the big comedy actors, they always saying making a comedy movie is the hardest thing ever to do. You can do an action, you can do drama easily because people will link with you easily.
Exactly.
But if you did a comedy, not everyone has the same taste of comedy.
Right. Exactly.
So that's hard to make comedy. Like you can start with anything. You went for comedy.
Well, I mean, with comedy too, the thing that I found, like, I really like to get into the nitty gritty details of film production, and especially film writing. And there's a whole science behind it, behind comedy writing, because you need the timing. It's all about the timing. So you need to make sure the jokes land well. If they don't land correctly, if it's off by a second, it's gonna land flat.
Yeah.
So you really have to plan out how that joke's gonna land, make sure that the character sounds good, everything's working together to make that joke
They
land.
have to help each other.
Exactly.
Like someone make it easy to say the joke for now. It's not just someone coming to say jokes. People will not laugh. And I have a problem with some comedy scenes. It's been on the trendy stuff. Like now, whatever is trendy, let's talk about them. But this kind of comedy will not last because now it's trendy. In a few years, no one will know this.
Exactly.
So you want something to live forever, so make a comedy as a based on situation, whatever. I feel that's what kind of comedy you like to write or to make. Give me examples like a movies maybe or whatever you come to your mind.
It's funny. I like to write films, so like the feature length, so any movie length things, not so much TV shows.
Okay.
But I get a lot of my inspiration from TV shows.
Ah, like what?
So think about like New Girl or Friends.
Okay.
If you look at really look at those shows, you'll notice that not everything is said. Not all the jokes are said. You see it in the eyes, you see it in the body language.
Yes.
And so I like to play with that because that's more natural.
Yeah.
I mean, when humans joke around, we use our hands, we use our eyes a lot, and so I like to pair that with a verbal joke, and I'm like, it's not going to land the same way if you don't pair it. So
actually, yeah, it's all like Friends for sure. This is my favorite. A New Girl and all of this. It's not about joke. It's about the situation they make each character in. Like making Ross in a situation, you will laugh because he got divorced. You understand the situation. He got divorced, but you will laugh because you know it's his third divorce.
Yep.
Or Phoebe saying something, she's talking serious, but she is funny because she's weird. So this kind of situation, it's not about joke. He's not coming to tell me a joke. He's coming in his normal life, which is happening to everyone. You can have a friend doing something, you will laugh because whatever he did, but he didn't mean it, you know? So that's what I like, the situation kind of comedy. So you are a big fan of Friends?
I love Friends. I'm actually rewatching the series. I got about halfway and then I got busy, so I wasn't able to finish it. I was like, so I ended up going back over Thanksgiving and just starting. I have a whole DVD collection. Started from the beginning and I'm just watching.
I'm always doing it, you know?
Yep.
Friends is the only show. Never leave my whatever, because here it's HBO. In Middle East it's Netflix. On Netflix, yeah. Don't ask me why, but wherever I work, always have Friends going. Like especially before I sleep, I like to watch one episode or two to make me happy before I sleep. You know, like I'm sleeping in a good mood. So Friends always is my good mood before I sleep. And I always rewatch all of it.
Right.
See like episodes until the last episode. I'm not seeing it anymore. I don't like it. The last episode, I hate it. So I go for the one before and then go for first one again. You know, like nothing happened. I can repeat all the time. And Friends is iconic. I don't know how no one can make it again, but it's hard to do it.
I believe that has to do with the cast. Sometimes you just get that really good crew together, you get the really good cast together, and they feed off one another. But what I've noticed, even watching bloopers, is that the comedy is very organic.
Yeah.
So, and I believe, I'm sure they've improvised and pulled things in. I'm sure, you know, Matthew Perry has for sure. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. I really feel sad for him.
But I mean, just that show, every time I watch it, it's comedy gold.
Yeah.
There's something new with every episode, even though it's the same storyline. There's something new with every episode and new styles of comedy coming in. They pull everything together. It's beautiful.
They try to remake too many like Friends, and they couldn't have it. I don't know why, but it has something for them. Until now, it's living, and still people rewatch all the time. But I wish I can find something similar, but I don't think so will ever happen again. So you said you take from a TV show, but make a movies.
Right.
Have you seen this situation in any movie? Because I can't imagine something similar.
In terms of comedy?
Yeah.
I mean, you could look at things like Central Intelligence. Even though it's an action movie, there's a lot of comedy there. Think about Jumanji. They are very funny.
Okay, I can get it now. It's a situation. Okay, now I get what you mean.
But I tend to like the more organic, you know, improvised comedy that you get in TV shows. For some reason, it's a different quality. I'm not saying that movies are bad, comedy movies are bad, but just the TV comedy is just so good. It's just so good.
But also the TV comedy building characters for a long time.
Exactly.
So you live with them. You lived with Friends 10 years.
Exactly.
So you know, sometimes when you are watching, you know what Ross gonna say or what Joey gonna say before even they say it, because you already knew them. The movie can't do that.
Right, exactly.
Your movie is 2 hours. You wanna make introduction, make everything about the character to get connected with, and whatever gonna happen to them and the finale. So that's very hard to do the same connection. But do you have a, like, let's say you're gonna write a movie now, a comedy one. Do you have a favorite character or no, an actor to be in the movie? A comedy, of course.
I'm still planning. I'm still planning.
Even if old one, like, no need to be now. You know, I'm just imagining now. Like, who's your favorite?
Just favorite actor in general, I would say Dylan O'Brien. If you've seen him in like Teen Wolf or Love and Monsters or Maze Runner, even in his serious role in Maze Runner, he has that little bit of he has a spark.
Okay.
But if you watch things like Teen Wolf, he carries that show. I love the show, but he definitely carries it. He's like the comedic.
It's all about him.
Even though he's not even the main character, he's the sidekick.
Yeah,
But
he's
just,
good. But
it's great.
I, to be honest, I felt, because the way you are saying about the situation and stuff and all of this, I was gonna say you were gonna say Jim Carrey. I don't know why. I was expecting to say something like this. Or for me, if I'm gonna make a movie and I can't get anyone, it will be Robin Williams. Robin Williams is amazing. Also, rest in peace. But he is amazing and can deliver anything you want without needing to say a joke. You know,
exactly. Just let him go.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking like maybe it would be him. You know.
Yeah, there's a certain quality that I would need to give the character if I wanted Jim Carrey or someone like Robin Williams to come in. I'm like, I don't have a character that fits that. It needs the availability to explore and improvise, and a lot of my characters, they follow a certain line, you know, a certain rule, I guess. So that I in my opinion, that comes along with practice, that comes along with exploring more characters, talking with more people, just experience in general. So where I am now, though, I do have I'm like, I need to branch out a bit more.
Okay.
You know?
We need more comedy, you know. To be honest, I feel the comedy is not as much as before. Look at all the movies now out. You will find one in each. Now we go for Marvel to watch a comedy, that's weird.
Exactly.
Because it's not good.
Exactly.
But think about the last comedy movie you've seen and you feel that was good.
Yeah.
It's not anymore.
Right.
You know, there's something wrong with comedy in the world, so we need, come on, work.
And it's almost to an extent like it's very cookie cutter. So you get a comment, you're like, oh, good. The jokes land the same way, and after a while, it's like, okay, you can't use that joke anymore. Exactly. So I definitely feel like, excuse me. I definitely feel like we need to branch out, just explore comedy. It's a massive genre. It's a massive thing, just in general. It's like there's so many different ways you can joke around. Yeah. So employ those differences. I
believe there is too many ways to make it, but somehow they are stuck in some way. It's not funny anymore, or not really comedy like before. Somehow they can find some comedy scenes, but not a whole movie. Like you can watch an old movie, all of it is funny. Shows, all of it's funny. Now I'm struggling to find a new show to watch. That's why I go back to Friends.
Yeah, exactly. They are rolling them out kind of quickly, you know. And I definitely feel like when you get into a movie, it's rushed. Because I will sit there, and as someone, I worked as a script reader for years, like right out of college. I was working as a script reader with a company based out of California. And my job was to go through screenplays and analyze them, correct the artists or the writers on the characters. Hey, we need to get here with development, or maybe the story wasn't quite hitting the way they wanted it to, so hey, here's some things we can do to fix that. But pacing was such a major issue with some of these screenplays. So I would talk to them and say, hey, look, how about maybe cut this out? This is kind of dragging it down a bit. Or, okay, you're moving way too fast. Let's slow down a bit. I see where you're going. I like it, but slow down a bit. Take your time. Because even though it's a movie, I understand you have a limited amount of time to say everything you want to say. But that's the thing, is you don't have to actually say it. There are millions of ways that you can incorporate that into the film without taking up a lot of time. So it's pacing is definitely a big thing with comedies. They do seem to get they're either pinged right up against, they're super fast, or they're real slow, and you're like, oh my goodness.
I have this problem, you know, in Egypt, we have also a big movie production. We used to be, now it's not anymore like before. We still have, of course, but not like great as before, and we used to have a very good comedy. Now I feel we have the same problem, so maybe the problem is worldwide. They also lose it somehow. They can't make comedy like before anymore, so I think it's a worldwide. But do you have more ideas about being away of comedy? Like if you can go away of comedy, do you have other things to think about?
I love my dramedies, so even if it has a little hint of comedy in it, I like it.
Like rom-com?
Rom-coms especially, I love rom-coms.
It's not anymore. I don't see it anymore, you know?
But like I said, a lot of things are getting to be cookie cutter. So whenever I go to the theater, and I know like you and I have gone to see movies, and we'll talk about it afterwards, but I'll know when like first 5 minutes, it'll either hook me or it'll lose me. And I'm like, okay, first 5 minutes, if it's good, this is a good film. This is going to last. but that also comes with the training that I did for that job. So you do it for 2 years, it's kind of just in your brain.
Do you analyze the movie different than the people watch? Like when you go to watch a movie, you watch it different than...
I do.
Really?
I do. I can actually see the screenplay running in my head.
Oh, so you see how they wrote it?
I see everything. I break it down into actions, into blocking, so wherever the actors are standing, I break it down to, okay, why did they say it that way? So I hardly go to a movie or a TV show just to be entertained. Exactly.
That's hard, you know, when you analyze everything, you will get tired of.
Right, but I enjoy it in a different way now.
Yeah.
Because I get to actually look into the screenplay and into the movie more. Instead of looking at it, I look into it. So I get to see it.
You divide everything.
I do.
Oh, if I was writing, I would do that. You know, if I would, he did a good job here.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
Okay.
I'm like, they couldn't have done that any better. But there are other times where I'm like, do we need that scene? It didn't really move the plot. And so.
Yeah, there is too many movies now, have too many scenes. They would say like, what I was watching now?
Exactly. Like,
what are we doing here now? You know? What kind of movie you watched lately and you really loved it?
Lately?
And I think I know the answer.
Well, lately I actually watched one of my favorite holiday movies again. And it's called The Holiday.
Okay.
It's Jude Law, Jack Black, so a little bit of comedy, a little bit of romance.
Is it Christmas movie stuff?
You could probably call it a Christmas movie. It happens around Christmas.
Okay.
Not so much, it's not like Elf or anything like that, where you can say this is full on Christmas. But I really enjoy it. It's like a comfort movie for me. It's a little slow, but it's a comfort movie.
The one it was in my mind, the one we saw together about the racing.
Oh my goodness.
What was the name?
Gran Turismo.
Yes. That's why in my mind I was thinking you would say that because I remember you loved it.
It kept me on the edge of my seat the whole movie. I was like, oh my goodness.
It's a so good movie.
It's amazing. And just the way that they incorporated the video game graphics into the actual, oh my goodness.
But it's a real story, so
it is.
They have a guideline. Sometimes I feel you can't mess up a real story movie. Sometimes they do actually, but it's easy to make it good movie, because you have a good story, you are going with it, and you can really make it.
Exactly.
But of course, some people really destroyed it. You don't want to go there, but it happens sometimes.
Yeah, that movie though, I'm waiting for it to come out on DVD. I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna have a whole movie night, popcorn, so whatever I
You rewatch again?
I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
Is there a movie you really can rewatch all the time?
I could easily rewatch it.
Which movies? Old movies?
Old movies.
Let's give some people recommendations.
Let me think. There's one, While You Were Sleeping, early 2000s, with Sandra Bullock.
Okay.
Another Christmas movie. I'm feeling festive.
It's a Christmas. So because we are on Christmas, I should bring you after Christmas to talk again about movies.
I'll give you some other recommendations.
Okay.
But While You Were Sleeping is a really good one. Great comedy.
I saw that.
It's really good. A lot of comedy.
Sandra Bullock was my crush for a while when I was young.
Hey, I don't blame you.
Yeah, because when I grow up, somehow I don't know why I watched it in a school. I watched a movie named Speed. You know Speed with Keanu Reeves?
I believe so, yeah.
She was driving a bus and there is a bomb if they stop or something. It was so good. And somehow I was watching in a school. I don't know why they had it in our school, but I was watching in a school and I loved it. So I've been waiting any time to come on TV because when I was young, we didn't have this variety of platforms. We have 2 channels. You have to wait and the movie night coming at 7 p.m. on some days and you have to watch it until the TV turn off on you.
Yep, that's true.
And then go to sleep. So it was really hard to find a movie. So I get a DVD for Speed.
Right.
And I loved it. I had not DVD. What's the name of it? Anyway. So it's really. I love the movie and I love Sandra Bullock for sure. She was a crush for me.
Exactly. Hey.
But I don't remember I saw this movie.
It's good.
So it's a movie you can rewatch all the time?
Absolutely. It's in my family. It's actually a holiday tradition of ours.
Oh.
So
what's the name again?
While You Were Sleeping.
I have to watch it because I didn't. Movies very connect with me. Like I love movies. I was going to move to Seattle when I was coming here because Sleepless in Seattle. That's how much I'm connected to movies.
I
can
get
understand now, Because when I was planning to move here, I didn't have anywhere to go. I was just choosing whatever. And I thought Seattle seems good in the movie, They have a beach, they have good houses, everything. And Tom Hanks sold it to me, it looks good. I like it. So really, I was planning to go to Seattle because of Sleepless in Seattle.
I mean, you could always take a trip there, see how you feel.
I think I will go. But I enjoy movies, you know that. But the only movie I can rewatch and never get bored of it is Castaway. You know Castaway?
I need to see.
You didn't see it? I feel it's underrated. Not too many people know it or see it. Tom Hanks made a great movie.
Yeah.
And he is alone in the movie in an island, and you have zero boring second. You will never get bored.
I feel like I've seen it, but at the same time, I can't place
I don't know how, because you are not the first one. Everyone asking me what's my favorite movie, so I say Castaway. But when I say Castaway, some people say, "Oh, who is this?" So I say Tom Hanks. It's actually not that old. Also, it's like a new movie,
Right.
in early 2000 something. But it's so good, and anyone you will tell him or tell her the story, they will think it's old movie or it's a boring movie because he fall on the island and he living alone for 4 years. So he living alone for 4 years, and they showing you most of the stuff. And they doesn't even having too much talking because he's alone.
Right.
But somehow he will be talking. You will surprise with who. I don't wanna spoil it because you will really enjoy the movie. You will make, I can't say something. He will make you cry for a ball, like a soccer ball.
Oh wow.
Or not a soccer ball. It was a volleyball ball. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
I know
Watch
the movie.
it.
I know the movie you're talking about for sure.
You remember now, Wilson?
I do.
You
Yeah, I
remember
do.
Wilson? So he made me cry for a Wilson, you know. And the Wilson is a ball. It's not
Right.
nothing, you know. But this is my favorite movie, and I can rewatch it all over. So, do you have a Christmas movie? Because we are in Christmas
course.
time now. Beside like Sandra Bullock, do you have another movies?
Elf.
Elf.
That one's again another tradition of mine. But it's like if I don't watch any holiday movie, that is the one that I have to watch. Just it's more comedy. I get to.
I love
more,
it.
You know?
Mine is Home Alone. I have to watch Home Alone once in a
of course.
year. So
Of course.
Christmas, it's mean Home Alone for me, so I have to watch it at least once. You know?
Of course.
Yeah. Let's take away of all of the comedy and Christmas stuff. What is your real favorite movies?
Favorite in terms of genre or just in general?
In general. Favorite movies. I don't want to say 3, so say whatever you want, but not too much. You know? Like 3 or 5.
Things that expand my imagination of fantasy worlds. So that can be anything from How to Train Your Dragon. I love DreamWorks. I love color.
Okay.
So if I can watch something about a dragon, How to Train Your Dragon, I'm there for it.
Okay.
If I can watch something about Maze Runner, even though it's sci-fi,
Maze Runner?
it
I love
really
the Maze Runner.
it really pushes the boundaries of your imagination, you know. And so I like watching movies like that kind of unlock a new realm for me in my brain that I can travel to and think about. Because not only do I get to go, oh, this is a really cool place and explore it during the movie, I can also pull inspiration from that when I'm writing my own films. I can kind of get into that headspace and go, you know what, that was a really interesting energy in that realm. And so, not that I copy that at all, but still I can kind of get into, I'm like, okay, that one was kind of eerie, so I need to really tap into that. And I can incorporate that into my own projects.
You have to have knowledge about movies to make your own.
Exactly.
You know, Quentin Tarantino, he never studied. He been only watching all the movies. He's a big fan before he being a great producer now or director or whatever he's doing now because he do everything. He was just watching all the movies. He was a fan for all the movies before he became who he is now. So that's not wrong at all to be watching and connect with some people like they have like an idol, and then you start from there to make your own character more stuff like this.
For sure.
So you don't really go for old movies, like very old?
I'll watch them here and there, but I tend to like the movies that came out when I was a kid. The things that I grew up with.
You connected with.
Exactly,
Okay.
because not only do I get to pull from memories, I also teach middle school, and so I teach language arts and English and stuff like that. So when I'm talking to them, I'm telling them how to do certain things. I go, pull from your memories. These things offer a lot more than just a little reel that's in your head. They offer feelings that you can tap into. They offer different scenarios that you can think about. And that's what I like to do with the films that I grew up with. I like to think about those and go, man, there are so many things happening at that point in my life. And so I can pull from that and incorporate them into a character. Things like that. It's like, I love the movies that I grew up with. I also feel nostalgic. So.
I love this kind of movies. And I have another movie. It's also some people to watch. I don't think you watch it or no. It's named 12 Angry Men. You know it? This movie is so simple, exactly like Castaway, like someone on an island. This movie is 12 men in a room sitting on a table and talking. It's about talking. But how much they're gonna change your mind from seeing the story or looking for the life, it's way different. So this kind of movies, I love it more than any other movies because I don't need too much running, too much stuff.
Right.
You can sit and give me a conversation and I will enjoy it, like 12 Angry Men.
Exactly.
Really a great movie, and I'm missing this kind of movies, you know. Maybe I like this is my type of favorite movies, but I love it, you know.
Well, it's funny you bring that movie up because actually, when I was in high school, that's kind of where I started thinking about eventually going into theater or film production. I didn't actually make the move until my senior year of college, but I did kind of like you can call it a parody of that movie, and we turned it into 12 Angry Jurors. So it was a whole thing sitting around the table. It was one big set.
What was about?
Just that. It was
really?
that big.
Same story?
But we made it more of like jurors. So they're all sitting around. We're all trying to talk about this one guy. We're like, did he commit the crime? Do we find him guilty? And it was a great little remix of the movie. And
that's good.
But you brought that, and I was like, oh, that's a nice memory. But again, see, that's what I mean. Like, I think about memories, stuff like that, and then I pull from that. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
We all connect to this kind of memories, and you always enjoy to go back for it, you know.
Exactly.
And I really love to watch a movie connect me some nostalgia. You know, like that's something everyone likes, I guess, but. That's nice movie or concept of something you think about. Have you ever have a movie you wrote already on the side and you didn't tell anyone about yet?
I wrote one.
Really?
And it actually won an award, but I haven't released it yet.
Oh,
so
what's the name of it?
To Be Determined. It's
To
actually, the title is called To Be Determined.
Okay.
So it's like a dual plot line. So you have the main character of the main girl. She finds herself through her protagonist. So she's writing a screenplay while I'm writing her screenplay.
Okay.
And she goes through this whole journey, and you really focus on his character and how his journey and everything, and then you realize at the end, wait a minute, we've actually been watching her find herself through him. And she pops into his world, he pops into her world, and so they kind of cross that boundary, and it's a lot of fun to play with. So.
Is it a movie, comedy? Or rom-com? Or
It's a comedy.
Okay.
It's a comedy.
It sounds good.
One of my mentors, he was like, hey, you try something. I said, I'm going to push myself.
Okay.
And he was like, are you sure? I said, absolutely.
Have you tried to show it to any people, like producers?
Not yet. I'm not done yet. So
why?
Just not happy. It's not
You're
where
not
it
happy
needs
about
to be.
it? Or?
Right. I like where it is, but it needs more. So I'm at about 60-something pages, and I want to push it to about 85.
Okay, so you can still... How you get the motivation to write?
I need to be in a mood. I need to be in a certain mindset.
What kind of mood?
Where I turn on music, and I'm like, okay, I know exactly where I want to go with this. It's that type of thing where I don't want to touch it because I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. And it's like, I remember the mindset that I was in when I was writing. I was really happy. I was excited. I was like, this is going to be like the next big blockbuster. This is going to be great.
Oh, everyone thinks this.
Exactly. And so I want to be in that mindset and go, this is what I want to work on, because I'm working on like 15 projects at once. But that one, it's like, no, this is my baby.
You have to keep it away from all of this. But, you know, some people having like their own mood, like they go for somewhere by the beach, having clean your mind and just focus on it. And I watched like an interview for one of the great writers in Middle East, and he was saying, no, I don't have this mentality, I don't need it. But what I'm doing, I give myself an exact hours every day. So I sit on desk, I have the music I like, and have a pen and write drafts. No need to be in exactly the movie. And start writing in exact hours. So don't leave, it's a job.
Yeah.
It's a job for him. So he keep writing. Maybe all of them bad in the end, I'll throw it, but he wrote, and he will keep collect ideas from here and there, and in the end, you're gonna have a movie. Sometimes it take a year or more than a year.
Right,
some days he made a movie in two months, and it was a great movie also. So it depends about everyone. I'm sure everyone has their own mind, but I'm saying you can try here and there. Like try this clean your mind and try in this mood to write and try to push yourself to the edge. Like I have to finish at least 20 pages today.
Right.
You know, and you
That's
keep
true.
writing. Maybe all are bad, but
Yeah.
you just keep writing because you can get one idea from this today, one idea from tomorrow.
That's true.
You will collect each from everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to push yourself.
Yeah, I'll try that. I remember when I was writing it, I would pull all-nighters. I was just in that mood, and I would stay up the whole night, and I was like, this is not the most responsible thing that I've done. But it's funny, I remember telling somebody that my creative time started at 11 p.m. and it ended at 5 a.m.
Okay.
So if I was awake, my brain would not stop. It was coming up with, okay, next scene. And I could write 20 pages, 30 pages, and be like, okay, I should probably get some sleep, you know. People come knocking on my door, bringing me Starbucks, like, are you okay? And I'm like, I see about 4 of you, but, you know, I'm good.
Yeah, everyone has their own creative time. Some people are in the morning, when they wake up, go to gym, back, work. Some people at night when it's get quiet and everyone sleeps. So find your own zone and work on it, I guess. But
yeah, trade sleep in here and there.
you know, one time, that's funny for me. I was going to sleep one day and because I think I was reading some, I was watching a documentary and some reading about stuff in history, Egyptian history, because I love that Pharaoh's era. And I found a king, he's not famous and there is nothing about his story. So one day I just wake up, or before I sleep, I was watching a documentary about a Pharaoh's era, because I love the Pharaoh's era and the Egyptian history.
Right.
And I was watching a documentary and reading a few stuff about it, and I found a king. He's the first family of the kings. Of course, there is life before him, but he's the one who started the Pharaoh's era.
Oh, wow.
And because he is the first one, there is not too much details about him. So we have only like one tablet, you can see it in the museum, saying what he did, but what he did to connect, because what happened, he came from South Egypt before, it was two, North and South.
Right.
So he came from South and made both together as one Egypt. So that's why we call his king Mina, his name, and he make Egypt one country. So I start looking for his history, how this man became the king. They have nothing about him because we don't know. We only know he came from South. He could make Egypt and all. He had that like a crown for both of them, because each side has their own crown. He brought all of them together to make one crown.
Wow.
And he became the king of all Egypt for the first time, because before that it was two. So he has a great story, but no one know how it started. So you know what? When I started watching this, I was going to sleep, and somehow, you know, when you have a lamp came out of your mind. So there is a lamp came out of it was like 12 p.m. already, I have to sleep, you know. And I was like, I have an idea, and I start writing. I kept writing the movie. It's a movie, you know. Of course, a shitty movie, because I have no idea how to write a movie. But I start writing about him. He is growing up in the South, and he's doing their job, like doing whatever with sheep and stuff like this. And something happened to him and his family had to fight. Somehow the fight became a revolution. He took the South, and he decided to make a communication with the North. They didn't accept, so he went to fight, and somehow he connected both of them. This is in my mind, you know. This is not a real story. But somehow this was the idea in my mind. I can make a story about him and a good movie, you know, because there is no movie about him. No one know him, because ask anyone about the Egyptian, they will say too many kings or too many queens, like Cleopatra, the most famous here. But no one will talk about King Mina, because he's not famous at all. And I love the history a lot, so I know him. But I think like I should write about him, you know. And I have no idea how to write movies, to be honest. I don't know even how to make a plot on all of this stuff. I have no idea. I just wrote. I keep writing scenes, you know. I'm writing like I'm seeing a movie. So he was walking and see an old man on the tree.
No, that's how I do it.
Really?
I do the same thing.
Okay. That was something funny after I finished. That's a shitty movie, but the story is good.
But I mean, that's the thing, is that if you can come up with enough scenes, then you can find what's common. And that'll be like your main line, your main storyline, right? You'll find the thing that ties everything together, and you can just go, boop, there's your movie.
Wow, okay.
So like what you do, that's what I do. I will wake up at 4:00 in the morning. And I'm like, where's my notepad? You know, I get my phone.
Keep writing,
and I have to jot stuff down. So I'm like, I'm gonna forget. I'll wake up and it's like clean slate, and I'm like, no, I had a great idea last night.
You have to write the idea somewhere because you will forget it next day, or maybe you're thinking, I had a great idea, where'd it go? You know?
Exactly.
I can't remember. So I wrote it. Actually, I have this paper at home, but it's a shitty movie. But I'm saying the line of the movie is great. As a king in his story to rise to be a king and the fighting to get the both of them together, it can be a good movie. I see it, but I don't know how to make it, you know.
It's easy. You'd pick it up real fast. You'd be great. You do great.
That's something in my mind. It's like, okay, that's a story, you know.
I mean, honestly, you should see my room or my desk. I have sticky notes everywhere because normally that's what I have available. And so I'll grab a pen, I grab a sticky note. I'll do laundry, and I'm like, what is this? I find a sticky note. I'll be changing my purse, and I'm like, I'll find 3 sticky notes. Why do I have so many sticky notes there? And I'm like, I need to have a tree, you know, at least it'd be pretty.
That's good.
But drawers full of them just of ideas. So it's like I said, I do the same thing that you do. You have to jot it down.
Nice. That's nice. You know, anyone who like to create something, you have to just don't think like I will fail. Just write it and leave it for later.
Exactly.
Someday it will be something, you know.
Let it marinate in the brain.
Do you have a director, like if they called you today to work with a director, you will run?
Oh man, there's one. What is his name?
What he did?
He did Avatar.
James Cameron.
Thank you.
He's so good.
Yeah.
But he take years to make it. Like he will make you struggle for 3-4 years with him to release one movie, you know.
He does, but if you think about it, remember Avatar? The first one came out in the 2000s. Second one came out last year.
2 years ago or
last year, a couple
last
years
year,
ago.
yeah, it was here, yeah.
But the hype surrounding the second film,
You love it.
It was huge. It blew up on social media. I mean, theaters were packed. This movie, the fact that we went that long, that he took that long to create the second film, he did it correctly.
Do you know what he did before Avatar? Titanic.
Yeah, he did do
This
Titanic.
guy's
That
like,
is true.
He liked to break the record. Actually, it's a famous thing about him. He liked to break records. So he make a movie to become the top of the list, like Titanic, and he was like crazy about it. So when Marvel took this, he made Avatar, and he made it the top record.
Right.
Lately, I hear he released Avatar again in China, the first one, to become the top on the list again until he made the second one. But I don't know now the record. I'm not really following, but he loves this. And of course, his movie is great.
Right.
And he always doing something new. Like everyone in technically, they say the way he used the camera, the stuff like this, it's crazy. But I have a problem with him.
What's up?
Especially in Avatar. He get attached to the idea about how to see the scene and the beautiful picture.
Right.
And sometimes he forgets the script.
Yeah.
So sometimes he need more writers than him because I think he's the writer also.
He has written on some.
Yeah, the movie is great, of course, but if he made it a little bit away from him, like some people writing for him,
Right.
he will make it the greatest. But of course, he make a movie, he know it will sell anyway with his name, and the scenes, amazing. But James Cameron is your favorite?
I mean, I remember talking to someone, they were like, if you could talk to any director, if you could work with any director, I'm like, for sure, James Cameron.
James Cameron.
100%.
Oh.
The thing with him that I really admire is he has, it's like this unlimited ability to create these worlds. He's really good at world building.
Yeah.
If you think about Avatar, he has all these tribes, all these areas, and then I mean the first one was beautiful, you know, the jungle and everything, it was the forest, it was gorgeous. And then you go to the second one, now we're all in water. And I mean, as someone as someone who loves the beach, though, I was like, this is just beautiful. Like the movie opened and I was just stunned. My mouth dropped open. I was like, oh my god, this is gorgeous. But it's the ability to create that inspires me to create worlds like that. He is, but it inspires me to create worlds like that in my things. Because I write comedies, I also write sci-fi. I'm working on a sci-fi thing, and so I'm trying to do what he does, where I really expand. I go, how big is this world?
Yeah.
You know, we look at our world, and even though we see it as a planet and it's limited, at the same time where we're standing, we go, we don't have enough time to see everything. And so I want to create that feeling of it being unlimited. You know, the world has no boundaries.
Yeah.
And
it's not easy to build a life like.
It's not.
What he did is crazy, and not too many people can do it to build. He didn't build only a story between a few people. No, he built a life.
He did.
So there, these people in the water life and desert and there and here and all of them have a languages and have names and have style and have looking. So yeah, what he built is not easy.
It's just beautiful. And I mean, I would say aside from that, my other favorite part in the movie is the soundtrack or the score, if you want to call it a score. I love music like that. It's very happy. It's with all the percussion and stuff. It's so pretty. Yes. But I mean, it kind of feeds into my other passion, which is music. And so I have it on 24/7. I just got my Spotify Wrapped. Oh boy.
When you connect to any movie or anything with the music, like it's something important for you.
Exactly.
For me, it link in my mind, like if I left the movie and the music is still in my mind, that was a great movie as music. If I left and don't remember it, no, the music wasn't good, because if it's good, it will stuck.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, the Avatar music is just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and it adds so much. Adds a lot of depth to the world for sure.
I think so. I love Avatar. I can't say anything, but I just hope to make it 100% perfect because I really love it. If the script was a little bit different, but he showed us scenes you would never seen it anywhere else because of him.
Exactly.
But do you have anyone else, James Cameron? But there's too many.
There are a lot.
Like Scorsese, but Scorsese is different than you. Like his type of not comedy or not like this stuff. Maybe Fincher.
There's so many to pick from. You know, the first one that came to mind was obviously James Cameron, but I mean
that's your favorite. You know, the first one come to your mind, it's your favorite. You know,
it's for sure.
I always saying that when you think about something that came to your mind, that's him or her. You're not like that's your favorite. Sure. Okay, that's good.
It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
I feel everyone must have a gift. Like God give us all of us a gift, and each one has his own gift. Some people find it, some people doesn't. Like doesn't yet. Do you feel you know your gift yet?
I feel like I'm still trying to figure that out. But I do find that maybe not as my gift, but a gift in general is being able to go on a journey like that. Being able to, because I'm trying to really focus on enjoying the journey rather than the destination. So I'm like, this is a gift. Just being able to go on this whole journey, wake up every day and go, what's going to happen today? And see what else I can discover about life, about myself. It's a beautiful thing. And so,
are you happy in this journey so far? Can you, like, if you're going to divide or split your life on parts, how many parts it will be?
So far, I would say it's probably about, I'm in chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
Do you have a favorite chapter?
Chapter 4.
The last one? Okay. Really?
Because I'm still creating it.
Okay.
So it hasn't closed yet.
Why it's your favorite, like that much favorite?
Chapter 4 started when I graduated from college and moved home. And it threw me for a loop. My plan was to stay in Orlando because I went to UCF. And so I was going to stay in Orlando and just take off there. And there was always something kept standing in the way of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. And so I ended up moving home and all these doors opened up. And so it was like, ooh, plot twist. You know? And so
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because the life that I really wanted in Orlando, it doesn't even compare to what I have now. What I have now is so much better. And I'm like, that's interesting. You know, it's to expect the unexpected. And as someone who likes to know exactly what's happening and stuff like that, I learned something new about myself. I learned that, hey, you know what? It's actually interesting. It's actually fun, the little plot twists. So I don't always have to know what's happening. But I've been just learning a lot in chapter 4 of my life. And
okay,
so
that's
I'm
really
excited.
good. Can you give it a name, this chapter?
I would probably say it's like a rebirth. It's like a renaissance.
Rebirth. Okay, I like it.
So I closed the chapter from my childhood, from my teenage years, from college. That was such a big part that I was focusing on. And so that was like section 1, right? It's full of chapter. And now it's like chapter 4, and I feel like I'm just
the action starts.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is what I've always wanted. Things that I was manifesting years ago, things that I wanted to happen, they're all happening. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Chapter 4 is great.
You seem happy in chapter 4. How was chapter 1?
Chapter 1 was wonderful.
being a child. You were here in Jacksonville, right?
I was in Fort Lauderdale for a bit.
Okay.
I left when I was 3 and moved up to Jacksonville to be with my family.
Can you give it a name? Chapter 1?
It's just your general introduction.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was colorful. I had a beautiful childhood. I was with a lot of family. I had a lot of family, people that lived in Miami. They moved up to Jacksonville to be around me growing up. So
That's good.
I had my grandmothers, my grandfathers, my aunts, my uncle, my parents, everyone around me. And so I was able to really connect with a lot of family that way. And just, like I said, beautiful, colorful. My parents, I love my parents.
In this chapter of your life, have you thought you gonna be a writer, or you wanna be a writer, or in a movie industry in general?
That would be the goal. That would be the goal. When I was younger, though, I was sold on being an equine vet.
Okay.
So more science. And it was fun. Sometime in college, my brain just switched, and I went from science to English and art and creativity. And so I made the switch, and now
it's a journey, as you said, and you keep learning and find something new about yourself. So in the beginning, you think you wanna follow someone you like, or being like your idol or your family, your dad or whatever. And in the second chapter, you start saying, oh, you make friends. They get infecting, influencing you, and you are influencing them. You moving together and changing your mind. The college is where you build. That's what I always feel. The college is the most important for your personality.
Right, exactly.
Before that, some people influencing you. They keep feeding you ideas, stuff in your mind.
Exactly.
But in college, you will say like, no, I don't like this, or I like this, or I want to go back, or I want to leave that. So college is the time you build, and that's why you like chapter 4, because after you take your decision in your college era, or like chapter 3, now you're doing what you really like.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were some times in college where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do this whole film thing. Maybe I should just stick with science. I'm a big horse person, so going into veterinary, going into like the veterinary side of things, I thought that'd be fun and rewarding, and I'd be able to take care of animals, and they take care of me. I've had pets, they've taken care of me, so I'd love to return the favor to them. But at the same time, I can't get past the whole passion for film and art and music, and like maybe that's just my calling, and I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, it's a journey, as I said. So you learn, you keep doubting in yourself, like, should I do that? I'm really good in that. So until you decide, and now at least you're happy about it.
But it's part of the journey.
Yes.
It's all part of the journey.
I like it.
It's like I keep telling myself, when I get to the end of the road, or at least the end of this road, I want to be able to look back and go, wow, look at everything that I did. Look at all the experiences that I had. Look what I made happen. I want to be able to look back on that and go, yeah, I'm satisfied. We can check that box off.
Okay, I'm happy for that. Okay, usually I have a game in the end, before we end. It's named Imagine Game. Okay, I'm
ready.
So close your eyes and start thinking whatever I'm gonna tell you. Imagine it and tell me, describe everything.
Okay.
So imagine you are in a desert, big desert. You see it? There is a cube or a box. Where do you see it and how it looks like?
I see it sitting on this little pedestal.
Okay.
Kind of like a plant holder, oddly enough.
Okay, so it's a little bit up of the land.
Right.
Okay. And how it looks like?
Looks like a crate.
Looks what?
Looks like a crate, like a box.
Ah, okay. Is it, you can see it all, or only two sides, or all of it, or how you can see it, and how it looks like, colors?
It's a tan, so browns, tans, very earthy colors. But the way that I am walking up to it, I'm seeing three sides of it. I'm seeing the top and then two sides.
Is it antique, like something vintage, classic, old, or new?
Looks like something you would find off of a cargo ship, like old cargo ships.
Something and like from the vintage style.
Yeah, kind of. Where it's just wooden nails, very basic.
Okay, I like that. You will understand why later, Okay, let's say you're seeing a leather. Leather. How you see it and how it looks like and where.
So a letter?
Yes. Anywhere in the desert.
Funny, when you said letter, I saw a written letter, like a whole page.
Okay.
But in terms of a specific letter, I see A. And I see it just kind of...
No, sorry, not letter. Ladder, like to climb.
Oh, ladder, okay.
Yes.
They said letter. Okay, so ladder. I'm looking at the box. It's probably about a mile
Okay.
away towards the right, like the back right.
How standing in the sand or on top or
And it's in the sand. It's just leaning a little bit. So it
leaning?
looks like, right. So it's kind of, it's not standing straight up.
Okay.
Somehow it's being held at an angle.
Okay. And house looks like old, new,
Just wooden.
wooden.
Yep, basically.
Little bit also looks like the box. Okay, that's nice. You really understand this stuff later, you know. Okay, you can see now a horse. You are a big horse girl, so describe this horse.
Flea bitten gray Arabian.
Arabian. Okay.
So
They are the best.
exactly, the white coat with the silvery gray mane, the specks on the coat, like the red specks on the coat.
Okay.
Gray
How
muzzle.
are they standing, walking, where they are?
It's galloping in circles
Okay.
around me in this box.
Okay, that's nice. Is it how you can describe his attitude, like the way he walk or the way he act?
It's very majestic, very regal.
Okay.
So it's almost as if he has a message,
Mm-hmm.
and I either need to open the box to figure out what he's trying to tell me, because obviously this box is important since he's running around us.
Okay.
So I feel like he's either trying to show me something, or he just has something that he's trying to tell me.
Okay, I like that. Let's say you're seeing a planet.
Mhm.
Any kind of planet, flower, rose, planet, whatever you see. Tell me where and the house looks like.
It's just one of the, I think it's called like an elephant fern or something like that. But it's like the really wide leaves. It's not in the desert at all. It doesn't grow in the desert at all.
I know, that's why you have to imagine where is it.
Exactly, but it's funny. It's in a pot, a gold pot.
Okay.
Sitting next to the box.
Next to the box.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Okay. The last thing. You seeing a storm coming from anywhere. So think about it and tell me how strong it is, how far is it close, and what's gonna affect all of this.
It's moving quickly in my direction. And dark clouds, there's a lot of lightning, I can hear the thunder.
Okay.
But it's definitely moving at a very fast speed. I would say it's a couple miles out.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what the horse is trying to tell me, that there's something coming in the future that either maybe I'm not ready for, or something that maybe it's for someone who also loves thunderstorms.
Okay. But it didn't affect anything of the stuff, like the box, the planet, the horse, the leather?
There's the latter, oddly enough, no, considering that's the one thing that's being held up somehow. The box and the horse, there's a lot of wind involved, and I can already feel the wind coming. So I see like the horse's mane, that's flying, and the thing that the box is sitting on is starting to wobble.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the first thing I think of is I need to take the box, get on the horse, and go.
Okay, that's really good. You can open your eyes now.
Okay.
I will tell you how to do it now. And actually, I love how you described it because you give me a scene of everything, and that's easy to say what it is. So the box basically is you. So you see how you imagine yourself, and how you see yourself very vintage, basic, but have your own style. And the leather, which is your family and friends, you like to be like you. You don't like to go so far from you. Always looks like you. They are very strong. They are very good connection with them. And the horse is the partner you are looking for. You're looking. It's not easy to catch. He's always around them. But when the storm came, I will let you know how this. But the connection is not bad. And the planet is the kids. If you're seeing the kids in the future. See that? So you saw it's very close to the box.
Yeah.
So as a mom, you feel you want them to be next to you, very close to you. You can like protecting them. So that's why I said, oh yeah, that's nice. You can understand that. But if you want to have kids, you want to be ready for them and like protecting them. So the storm is problems and issues coming in the future, and you said the partner, he was like trying to tell you about it, and he came very close to you. Yes, it's moved you a little bit, and him, but still you passed it. You know, that was the good thing about the storm didn't affect you. It was very hard, but still it's go. Yeah, move you a little bit. The problems can do that for any relationship, but it didn't really affect it that bad. You know, that's why I said when you say it's okay, you are giving me the answer from your imagination. You know, that's really nice.
I can see that now I want to write a story about it.
Well, it's I have to give the rights. It's a Japanese game, or not a game. It's like a study. It's named for ecology. Japanese, and I knew it because one of the podcasters in Middle East, he has a channel. His name AB Talk. He said it, and I really like it. So I start reading about it to make it like for my friends to have fun, and it's really I enjoy it because somehow when you think about it, it's real.
Yeah, that's
how you see yourself. How you seeing your partner, you know, some people say the partner is like very far away, playful. They like to be there, but the way you see and the family and the kids, so I really like it. You know?
I mean, that's really good insight too.
The way you imagine it is great. You know, that's why it's good to have someone in a movie, movie industry because then they can imagine it. Yeah.
No, that's fun. I like those. I always like those games. So I was like, what else can I learn about myself? Like I said, part of the journey.
Yes, it's teaching you something about yourself you didn't know or nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm glad you came.
Yeah,
it was too much fun. I hope you will enjoy it as me. And thank you for watching until now. That's so far for you, I know. So, thank you and see you next time. Salam.